I'm gonna be breaking down New York session and London session. So I'm gonna make sure I drop a lot of gems for you guys. I'm gonna make this super simple but very detailed. So pay attention. I'm literally gonna drop my strategy from from 0 to 1,000 to like from A to Z, how everyone says. So just pay attention. So first things first, I'm gonna be breaking down because I did not all right, so I'm not going to break down today because this session is still continuing. So I'm going to be breaking down yesterday's New York session and London tonight, which I placed a sell limit here and I took this trade here. So I'm going to be breaking this down. So let's go right into it. First things first, I'm going to show you guys how I mark the highs and lows of days. So if we're trading on Thursday, I'm going to have my high and low of day coming from Wednesday. And the rules for this is going to be the highest and lowest point between Frankfurt and New York session. So again, if we're trading on Thursday, the high and low of day is going to be from Wednesday, one previous trading day. This is the lowest point right here between Frankfurt and New York. And then this is the highest point right here. And then check this out. If we're trading on Thursday, the previous high and previous low of day is going to be two previous trading days before. So if this is Wednesday, it's going to be Tuesday. We're trading on Thursday, it's coming from Tuesday. And same thing, it's going to be the highest and lowest point between Frankfurt and New York session. Asian session does not count. And the main rule for this, guys, is I do this on M5. That's where you could see crystal clear. This is not the high of day. Notice it has to be in between these sessions and in a session. So this is the highest point in between these sessions. Previous high of day right here. And then we're going to draw the previous low of day right here. Previous low of day right here. Okay. And then these points are very specific, guys. These points you're going to see throughout time and in the breakdowns, how specific the market uses them and how very important supply and demand they confluence. And you guys are going to see this now. So now that we have that drawn, let's go to the higher time frames and see what we're working with. Let's go to the weekly the weekly time frame, and I'm going to show you guys the supply that we're working with right now that we've actually been working with for the past 3 weeks. So for the past like 6 weeks, I've been telling you guys when we were in this push up to the upside. Notice how this movement that we got to the downside started from this area right here. This supply right here. Notice this bullish previous candle that gave us this movement to the downside. Notice how as soon as we touched it on the weekly time frame, we're getting this retracement back down to the downside. We're getting this bearish movement. So now that we have that on the weekly time frame, let's go to the daily time frame and see what we're working with. The main target that we're actually working with that we just hit today is this target right here that I've been mentioning for the past like 2 weeks. This area of demand that created this push into the weekly supply. This is our area of demand right here. And then notice how we also have this area of supply right here on the daily that looks like a left, a head, and a possible right shoulder could be formed in here. So that's just something to keep in mind. That price could also give us this right shoulder right here coming from this candle. Notice left head, right shoulder, and then we'll probably get a movement to the downside. But this was the first target on the daily time frame. And then if we go to H4, just to mark something here to show you guys. Keep this in mind. Oh crap, let me take this out. Not yet. So notice this. Notice on H4, this is the daily time frame demand, and then we have this void right here. If you can see now, we're having this pullback and we're respecting it. But if price were to break past this zone, we're just gonna mark this area right here. Just to keep in mind this area of demand on H4. That's where the move started. Notice this previous contrary candle, this bearish candle that gave us this bullish movement to the upside, breaking all these highs. So now that we have our areas of possible targets, our main zones drawn, let's break this down even more. So let's draw this. Let's do this. We have this area of H4 right here. H4 supply right here. Notice this right here. Use right here, here. So now let's go to M15 and let's break down the actual New York session. Okay, so now let's go just do this rewind so you guys can see exactly what I saw when I went to trade. So now that we have this like this, let me draw some okay, so let me draw this M15 supply right here. Okay, so now that this is pretty much what I saw on my graph yesterday when I went to trade New York. I had my highs and lows drawn. I had my supply on H4 drawn right here. And then I had my main daily target right here that I was expecting price to hit. So I'm obviously anticipating sells with this being the main target. And then I want you guys to notice this. Notice how London right here, it looks very random, but notice how London came to this supply right here. And I actually had a sell limit here. I broke this down on my story the day before. I told you guys that I was going to have a sell limit here. And then price didn't hit it in this session. But you can see that price hit it during London. So notice how this supply right here, this previous contract candle, like it was just pushed to the downside. Notice how it wasn't touched here. It looks like it was, but it wasn't. And then notice how we have this pullback. And then London literally taps it perfect. And then now we're getting this movement to the downside. So keeping all this that I just said in mind, this very detailed breakdown, notice how we have this previous low of day, and also we have the supply right here that's being used right here in confluence with this previous low of day, but we have this supply right here. This supply is previous bullish candle that's giving us this movement to the downside, breaking these lows, and we have this target down here. So I told you guys I was going to take a sell limit right here, place my sell limit, and then wait for price to take me to this area. So let's see what happened. If we go to M5, let's see, let's go to rewind. It's going to look something like this. Like that. Okay. Check this out. So notice how price uses this low of day right here, and then we're going to see price pull back into this area. Watch. Check this out. Now we hit the sell limit, but I do not take a trade at this time. This is 10 o'clock right here, and then if I have a sell limit placed, let's say I place my sell limit at 9, 10 o'clock, I will delete it by 11. I do not take a trade past 11 o'clock. It doesn't matter if it plays out a 1 to 20. I don't care. I do not take that trade. So I deleted my sell limit, but we're gonna leave this here because this is exactly my parameters. It was a 1 to my 8 pip stop loss, 32 pip take profit. I never hold more than 1 to 4. You can see that right here. So I also, let's just see what happened now after we hit this area. I'm gonna point out something right now that you guys probably didn't notice, but I'm gonna point this out just so you guys could sharpen your eyes. So notice, yes, the trade would have played out perfectly, but that's fine. That hit like around 12:30 in the afternoon. So notice now after we hit this area of supply right here, notice how we're continuing to the downside. But something that I wanted to point out real quick, just so you guys could see the importance of the highs and lows of days. Notice how when New York opened, I did not take this trade. I did not take this buy right here, but I'm gonna point this out. Notice how this area of demand right here was created with the low of day right here. This area of demand. So our 1 to 4 played out perfect. They would have played out amazing, but now I'm breaking down something else for you guys. Look at this real quick. Notice how this demand right here was created with this low of day. Price broke this high, pulled back, and then this area, price literally gave this movement to right here. So this area where we're anticipating the price to continue with the sells. So I just wanted to point out that real quick, the highs and lows of days and how important they are. So notice how price from this area that created this sells, now we're going to see price continue the movement to the downside from here. So watch, check this out. Okay, so look at this. Now from this area here, that this is where our sell limit was, we see price is definitely heading to our main target. So that's a breakdown of New York. Our entry was definitely going to be right here, coming from this area where the movement started to the downside. So keeping that in mind, that the movement started here, and then that the movement started from this area, price pulled back to this area, and then this is the main target. Let's see what London did. So let's break this down. But you guys see how detailed our entry points are. My entry points are not random points. It's literally a specific area, a specific pip, and I literally place my trades by sell limits and buy limits. I don't very rarely do I place market execution because I know where I want to enter, so it gives me time to place this. So I'm gonna just break down London real quick. So check this out. Now notice this real quick. I'm gonna just fast forward this and then I'll break it down, so that way this video isn't so long. Notice this. Notice this supply right here created in Asia. I'm gonna drop some gems for you guys. So sometimes London will use a supply from Asia. That's a very likely thing, or a demand from Asia. So notice the supply right here created in confluence with the low of day. This is just what I was telling you guys. Well, now technically in this day it's going to be previous low of day, but in confluence with this previous low of day and then the low of day down here. Notice how price is going to pull back here during London and then continue the movement to the downside. Watch this. Look, notice how price literally taps it perfect to the pip. That's why I'm telling you guys it's very specific to mark these highs and lows of days with the rules that I just told you guys. Notice we have the supply right here. Notice the low of day. And you guys are seeing it. This is like the fourth example in this breakdown. So notice how this would have been the perfect entry right here, coming from this supply with this high of day, and then you're gonna see price break past this target right here, and then now we broke past it. Now we're gonna see the pullback. But that was the breakdown of this point right here, the sell limit that I placed, and then this entry right here coming from London. It literally does not get more simple than that, guys. Give me 1 second. But yeah, it does not get more simple than that, guys. I literally dropped so much value for you guys, and I try to make it as simple as possible. So I hope you guys picked up some value, and I'll see you guys on the next one.